I'm going to start a YouTube channel, and I'll tell you a little story about why I feel I should do this. It's been something I've been thinking about for a while, looking at a lot of people's videos, and I can see that as they talk over time and through their videos, they begin to find what it is they actually were wanting to talk about, and they develop a body of knowledge around that. So to begin, I'll tell you about a dream I had while sleeping the other night. So I was obviously dreaming, and I found myself up on this beautiful grassy field, and the field was on the edge of a cliff, and over the cliff I could see this warm sunny day, this fairly clear sky, a few little clouds, down below the sea, the ocean spread out, and twinkling light sparkling of everything. No trees, just this like nice rolling grassy hills up on the cliff. And there was a group of people that were sitting and smiling, and they're welcoming me to this space. A friend of mine, Robbie Gregg, who I'd done a meditation retreat maybe 10 years ago with, or 8 years ago, and he was there, and he was there with Jim Carrey, and Jim Carrey was wearing a big sombrero hat. And I could tell these people were maybe enlightened, or they were initiates of some kind, and they were happy that I was coming to see them, and they gestured over to the other side of this bank, and they wanted me to look to see this presentation that was happening. And I looked over there, and the presentation was like this. It was asking a series of questions. And so the first question was, what would you do if you were given $5,000? Maybe you would buy a car. And what would you do if you were given $1 million? Maybe you would buy a house. What would you do if you were given $50 million? You would travel to Tibet and study dream yoga. And this, for some reason, triggered some kind of realization that I had in the dream, and a kind of awakening moment where I began crying with joy, because I felt like it was telling me that money was irrelevant, and that all that mattered was this wandering search for meaning. And I could also feel myself simultaneously just sitting in my bed crying, and in the real world. And I feel like this dream, I take it as meaning that Jim Carrey really wanted me to start this YouTube channel. So from there, like, why do I think, what am I going to make a YouTube channel about? I mean, it's really going to be me exploring how to look at the world, and using thought structures and thought images to create ways of looking at the world and understanding the world. And so what I'd like to begin with, and this image may restructure itself as we move through this video series, but to begin with, I would like you to think about the world as a floating castle, which is continually folding around itself and restructuring itself like a hypersphere or a hypercube, in which any point can simultaneously become an interior or an exterior that holds the rest of space or conceptual understanding. And this castle is representative of the human body, of the world, of the universe, of our thoughts within that, and we'll get into deconstruction of this image later, but for now, continue on to beneath this castle there is an island, and the island is a gravitational anchor for the castle. It's a path of initiation. It's a philosopher's stone. It's the embodiment of Christ, perhaps. Although I'm not religious, I use that thought image as a way of thinking about things. And then, so if we imagine this castle floating above the island, we can also imagine a series of tidal waves that pass through this castle, and this is the flow really of time, and it's flowing to us as solar flares from the sun, and these solar flares pass through us, and as we simultaneously fall towards it, as if we're falling towards a black hole, and as they flow through the castle, they often become a retroactive force which restructures the past. And the linking concept to the tidal waves would probably be time, but we'll get into that as well, as to what that could be. So that's it. I hope you watch more videos and join me on this journey.